Hello there! In this video, we will explain how Crowdring works and how it can be used, taking the example of Kenya. The reason why we picked Crowdring for this project is because Crowdring is a unique, innovative system that empowers people in poor countries to be voiced, and it supports civic engagement. Crowdring is a technique that allows callers to communicate by beeping, flashing, or phishing, as they are called in different parts of the world. These are calls that are intentionally dropped to avoid cost. Crowdring allows all people in poor countries who owns a first-generation phone and do not have internet access to come to know, to participate and sign petition for the social development in any country in the world. By simply sending a missed call to avoid paying money for the call or for the text to a provided number, a person can contribute to the social change in his or her country or in other countries. Crowdring is especially useful for mobilizing citizens to address and fight causes of inequality and poverty. The missed calls are then captured, and the campaigners can have a real-time measure of the number of incoming calls and the country they come from. Then they send back a free mass text messages to the user, standard. After being developed by the digital movement that calls itself The Rules, Crowdring has been tested in Brazil, India, and Kenya to support social change engagement. The civic engagement in Kenya was clearly bold. The raise of awareness is a sign of how people, if enabled, are willing to participate and contribute to the improvement of their country, and how sensible they are to social justice. That change resulted from the No Hunger Tax campaign, thanks to the Crowdring platform, which proved Crowdring to be successful, to be a system that needs to be developed and replicated in all situations where social change is difficult due to the poverty which people live in. In Kenya, in 2014, there were 32.2 million mobile phone subscribers, with the total mobile penetration amounting to 79.2%. While the cost of a text message in Kenya is about $0.01, considering the exchange rate, that $1 is equal to 102 Kenyan shilling, many people cannot afford to spend even that small amount. That is why the success of Crowdring is explained. Crowdring is a system that triggered many ideas that are helpful, such as the program started by the Khan Academy, that is a not-for-profit digital education startup that thought of providing free lessons online.
Now we'll be applying the Dillon and McNeil's model to the case study. First of all, we will be talking about the information quality. Information quality was measured in terms of accuracy, timeliness, completeness, relevance, and consistency. Crowdring engages people to participate in campaigns by showing people what campaigns are available or currently active. Also, Crowdring gives the possibility to campaigners to see how many calls occur at any given point in time, and the dashboard can be embedded into any website, allowing everyone to see the progress of the campaign. When a missed call is placed, the message that is sent in response is in the country's language. Crowdring helps social justice by allowing people who cannot afford to pay money or do not have the availability of smartphones. Crowdring helps people from around the world to connect and voice out the same issue. Lastly, Crowdring is an open source platform, which means that anyone could contribute in improving the system and use.
The system quality is measured in terms of ease of use, functionality, reliability, flexibility, data quality, portability, integration, and importance. In terms of Crowdring's usability, it is very reachable and easy to connect and engage people into campaigns without the need of smartphones. According to the CEOs, Crowdring is really safe and secure. It actually stores the numbers of those who sent it.
When you adjust the quality of the service, you need to check the tangibility, reliability, responsiveness, and the assurance of the system. In terms of the quality of the service, Crowdring engages people to solve social issues. It sends text messages to subscribed users in their own language. It is very accessible since it does not need internet or 3G to connect or engage in campaigns. It is very useful, especially for people who live in countries where they cannot afford high call or text calls.
In terms of the intention to use, the intention that Anna Hazare had in mind when founding Crowdring was to combat government corruption and high telecom costs in places like India and Africa. Poor in these countries have found Crowdring to be a cost-free way to make an impact in society, and it has seen immense success in some of the early pilot locations like India, Africa, and Brazil. The intention to use is directly impacted by the information as well as the system and service quality. The information available to both the creators along with the activists who are engaging in Crowdring will dictate how successful the model will be. System and service quality also play a hand in determining the intention to use the model. If Crowdring is intended to make everyone's voice heard, then there must be an effective system to organize and store responses, as well as a system in place to make sure that these missed calls make an impact on the issue at hand. In order for the system to work, there must be a certain level of services available in the area so that activists can receive notifications about current movement, and there must be an expectation of service from the phone companies in the region that these calls will be made and stored.
User satisfaction refers to the extent to which a user is pleased with the information system and it is directly affected by the system used. Crowdring helped to increase the user satisfaction by bringing out issues people are facing in Kenya and other countries such as Brazil, and this awareness has led to a positive social change. For example, in Kenya, Crowdring was able to make an impact in reducing the tax.
Moving on to the net benefits of the Crowdring system are huge. It allows people who are less socioeconomically enabled to voice their opinion, not only in a political freely in any realm in which popular opinion matters. Furthermore, the Crowdring system is both transferable and scalable to any area in which the majority of the population has mobile phone service. In fact, the owners of the Crowdring system created Crowdring as an open source project and encouraged people to create their own campaign. In terms of the scope of the system, Crowdring leads the benefits of all displays of popular opinion.
The impact of Crowdring and other forms of mobile petitioning has made lasting changes to areas where the voices of those in power often overshadow the opinions of the greater majority. By taking advantage of the telecommunications networks available to most of the global population, Crowdring was able to empower people with a digital voice that may not have been available to them several years ago. Using Crowdring as a tool for change was seen through the immense impact it made on the people of Nairobi, Kenya when faced with an anti-port unga tax that would have decimated the income of local food producers. Through the unique campaigning method of missed calls, Crowdring was able to increase local awareness about this pending tax bill from 9% to 58%, and the Kenyan government responded by revising the tax bill to reduce hardship for the food producers. The idea of Crowdring is an appealing one to almost anyone with a desire to create social change and does not rely on money or social status. All you need is one thing, a phone. For petitioners in Kenya, the Missed Calls campaign was met with great support because placing a missed call is free. During similar campaigns for social change, activists could support the campaign via a text message, but were subject to messaging costs set by local phone carriers. This made the campaign difficult to support for the Kenyans who were most affected by this tax, but who simply couldn't afford the high messaging costs supporters must endure to join the campaign. The impact of Crowdring to promote social change extends well beyond the poor people of Nairobi. Since its creation, it has been used successfully in places like Rio, Brazil, and even in cities throughout the United States like Chicago. The open source platform makes it readily available, and the past success stories makes Crowdring an attractive option for anyone trying to use technology to spur social change.
While both the impact and implications of Crowdring are potentially vast, the Crowdring system is not without its fair share of potential pitfalls. Crowdring is fully dependent on pre-existing infrastructure. While most regions have reasonably comprehensive cellular coverage as well as high rates of mobile phone adoption, there are still many parts of the world that are technologically underdeveloped. Because the entire Crowdring system hinges on phone calls, Crowdring is completely unimplementable in regions without phone service. Furthermore, as Crowdring largely serves to give underrepresented populations a voice, corrupt governments or corporations may attempt to diminish the efforts of a Crowdring campaign by limiting call service for the duration of the campaign, or something similar, thus adversely affecting the underrepresented population that the campaign was designed to help in the first place. As much as a Crowdring campaign is a technical feat, it is equally a social one. The nature of a Crowdring campaign requires stakeholder buy-in. That is, if the target population does not buy into the movement will, more than likely, be rendered completely ineffective. Finally, on a technical note, since Crowdring is an open source project, its code is available online. While this is absolutely a positive thing for anyone who endeavors to start a Crowdring campaign of their own, it does open the possibility that a hacker could find and exploit a vulnerability in the Crowdring system.
As the world continues to become more connected, the capabilities of technology-based activism will only become greater. With telecommunication infrastructure expanding and reaching more people around the world each year, I believe Crowdring and similar projects will be a powerful tool for social change for a long time to come.
In addition to its utility as a tool for social change, Crowdring serves as a model of innovation, having leveraged an existing technology, cellular phone service, in a new way. Looking forward, Crowdring can serve as a model of innovation for years to come.